Welcome back to this week's Honest Art Podcast. This week we're talking about something that I'm hearing from you guys in my DMs, and that is your frustration level at the lack of growth in terms of followers on your social media account. You guys are really frustrated out there. And what I hear you saying most often is you're upset or you're angry or you're frustrated that the algorithm is not serving you and serving your account. But I'm going to call a little bit of BS on that because there are a lot of accounts out there that are growing and they are still getting traction, okay? So that's what we're going to talk about. But first thing I want to tell you is no, your social media following does not necessarily equate to financial success. There are a lot of incredibly successful artists out there who, don't have necessarily a large social media following, but having a nice social media following has its benefits for sure. So I give you 7 different things, by the way, 7 different ways to increase your social media following. But the first thing I talk about is we've got to know what our engagement rate is on our account. And if that term sounds weird, you got to go listen to the podcast, because engagement rate is basically a measure of whether your followers are really digging what you're doing. Like, are they picking up what you're putting down? Because if they're not, then that is going to slow your engagement rate, which is going to slow or even stop your growth. So go and listen, because I give you the formula of how to calculate that. But one of the other things that I talk about, which is so important and so in our control, is authenticity. And I know that word gets thrown around a lot, but it is really important, especially when it comes to social media. So this actually has just come up recently, this past week, in Studio Elite. Studio Elite is my highest touch program. We meet weekly. We have a private retreat, all that. But in Studio Elite, there is this artist in there, and she is a strong, confident woman. She is mindful. She is sincere. She is compassionate. But what she is not is jovial and bubbly and just smiling all the time and all of that. So if she were to show up on her Instagram account or her social media account like that, like many of the people she likes to follow, by the way, if she tried to emulate that, it just wouldn't work. It would just be almost cringy, right? I mean, those people. You probably follow some of those people. It's just it's hard to watch. And then, their following doesn't grow. And it's because they are not being authentic. So for you, just be 100% fully who you are. Because, by the way, this woman is fierce in what she does. Her art is fierce, right? So she just needs to show up fully that way. And that's exactly what you need to do, is just fully show up exactly who you are. Because if you don't, that energy is going to be off and your followers are going to feel it. So there are 5 other things that you can do that you can really impact your following. So head over to this week's Honest Art Podcast, take a listen, and see what you can do to grow your following.